Start recording. Awesome. So again, welcome. Today is June 18th, Friday, and it is noon. We'll get you out of here so you can have an afternoon treat. So first things first, let's get you going with a question. I'm going to type into the chat here the link that you need to go to. If you open up that Google Doc, you should have the presentation slides, and there you should also be able to click onto the link that is needed, and we'll be able to answer the question in our answer garden. So again, once you have that, go ahead and get your question answered in the answer garden. So, all right. So click on that link there that I shared with everybody in the chat. And answer the question, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Answer in español, if you can, please, por favor. Estoy. Use the sentence frame. Let me help you out here. You can use the sentence frame, yo estoy. And then fill in the blank with what is required there. Yo estoy bien, yo estoy mal, yo estoy más o menos, yo estoy cansado, cansada. Again, pretty simple. All you do is type in your answer. ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy más o menos. And then here in a moment, I will double check on your responses. Oh, there they are. Yo estoy bien, yo estoy muy bien, yo estoy bien. Beautiful. I love that you're all good. Let's see here. How anybody just ready to be done? I know this is one class you have, but maybe you have other classes. Maybe you're estoy más o menos, estoy fatigado. Give you about another 30 seconds to put in your response there if you haven't done so yet. All right. Another 15 seconds there. Okay, awesome, folks. So that is time there. Let's go ahead and get you folks started with our next thing. Looks like Henry's having trouble there. If somebody could unmute themselves and tell me the most commonly used phrase there, I'd greatly appreciate it if you want to take an opportunity to say out loud what it says. Most common phrase that was used in our answer garden.
Yo estoy bien.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Abigail. I appreciate that. Yo estoy bien is beautiful. That's a super common answer and a super awesome response. Easy enough. Most native speakers will honor that and listen to you. Most of the time, you just can say, ¿Qué tal? And then just repeat that back. Pasa nada, ¿qué tal? So again, all good in this situation. So I appreciate you all for working through that. Let's go ahead and move on to our next little slide here. Let me get that back up for you folks. Okie dokie. So here are our goals today. We want to be able to say how, well, obviously we worked on this first one, writing. I could write how I'm doing. Most of us answered with that we are well today, and I appreciate that. Our second goal today is to help you find information regarding Costa Rica. I've had students reach out to me and state that they're not finding information regarding Costa Rica. So we'll look at that. And our final thing after our organization task is a short reading in the text. Also in there is some vocabulary for you folks. I know that many of you folks are struggling with spelling. That's okay. It's Spanish 1A. You're not experts. And we're not saying, oh my goodness, you need to spell everything correctly. That is okay if you have mistakes. But if you're like me and want more practice, we're going to provide that for you today. Okay. So let's go ahead and we've finished our first goal. Let's go ahead and do the organization piece and finding the information about Costa Rica. So let me share with you folks that in my material content, and then we'll get some questions answered here in a bit. All right. Let me share my screen again. Lots of tabs today open. All right, so as you can see, I'm here on our Schoology webpage. Any information that is typically culture-based, you'll find in the modules, like in the lessons. There's lesson 1 and lesson 2. I believe lesson 2 has la presentación cultural that you folks would need or require. Again, this is just an organization piece, just so you're aware where information is at. La presentación cultural. Don't forget to go through the lessons. I know sometimes it's annoying, but it has the good information. And on top of it, for the exams, this is the place where you'll want to go look, double check your responses when I'm providing you those points and making sure that you're pulling information from the presentación cultural. So if you just Google something, I'll know because I'm basing off the information from the information that was provided to you through the modules. Are there any questions regarding find this information? You can do so in the chat if you'd like, or if you would prefer, you can also speak out loud. I'll open that time frame of 20 seconds for questions. All right, sounds like we are good with no questions. So that makes me happy. Hopefully you can find that information and not struggle to answer the question on the exam. In this specific unit, we do not have an exam, which makes me happy. We do have a written presentation, which will be easy peasy. I think a few of you have already started on it and finished it. But in our next unit, it will be a longer exam versus the written presentation. So, and the exam will cover this cultural information. Again, just double check the lessons there. So that is our organization piece today. Let's go ahead and move on to our next task here. Let me share back with you my Google Slides. All right, let's go ahead and get started with some GimKits. Let's do some vocabulary review before we actually start our conversation in Español, so we get that Spanish brain working para trabajar el cerebro. So if you do me a favor, open up a new tab and go to gimkit.com/live, enter the code 1 4 7 5 3 1. Repito, 1 4 7 5 3 1. And all this is it's a quick little game. It'll run for about 5 minutes, and I'll play with you folks as well. The objective is to win money. You gotta earn some money, become millionaires in this specific game. I see Lydia. Thank you, Lydia, for hopping on. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Scott. All right, let's see. I know some of us are on our cell phones, which makes it a little bit difficult sometimes, but I know you got this. Double task. Give you about another 15 seconds to hop on, and then we'll get started. Thank you, Abigail. There's Henry the Fifth. No, just kidding. All right, I think that is I think that's all of us on there. So thank you so much again for hopping on. I will join you folks as well to do this gameplay. And I'll get the game started. So again, your objective is to answer the questions that you see on the screen. It's okay if you don't do so hot the first time through. Looks like Lydia's taking the lead. Ooh, Natalie's taking the lead there. That's super awesome. So you can also level up by doing some purchasing. You go to the shop. Oh, whoa, Natalie, 100. We're up there. That's super awesome. You go money per question. You can also do power ups. Looks like Scott upgraded. Good job, man. Let's figure out how to update that. Whoa, look at that, Lydia taking the lead. Excelente. Look at that. Lydia on top. First place, primer lugar, excelente. Y después Natalie. So kudos to you folks. So I'll give you some kudos, some claps there. All right, folks. Yes. Look at all those claps coming in. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get moved on to our next little task here. Let me hop back into my PowerPoint slide, and we'll move into our last task today, which is doing some reading, and then we'll ask some questions based off that. So this will require some participation from you folks. So I would really love to hear some of you read this section. Again, the pronunciation is totally fine. The best thing to do is just try. I would love to hear some of you folks take an opportunity to read through this. Again, you do have the PowerPoint slide there if you do not see it on your screen. Take a moment here. Let you folks situate yourselves a second. All right. Lydia, would you be able to read Maria's section for this first sentence there? Excellent. Go ahead and unmute yourself and please read.
Oh, okay. Wait, you can hear me, right? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Read the whole thing?
No, just the first sentence there for Maria.
Okay. Me llamo María de Jesús Escobar.
Excelente. Gracias, Lydia. All right. Let's go ahead and hop into our next little section there for Eduardo. Abigail, would you be able to read Eduardo's part there? Gracias, Abigail. Go.
Yo soy Eduardo Rodríguez, mucho gusto.
Excelente. Muchas gracias, Abigail. Let's go ahead and go back to Maria and Natalie.
Soy de España, vivo en Madrid.
Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. I'll read that Maria part that we kind of jumped over, but that's okay. All is well. I love it. Encantada. ¿De dónde es usted? And we are now at Maria's part. Scott, would you do us the honors there?
Pues usted es español, yo soy mexicana.
Excelente. Bien hecho, señor. Woo woo. All right. So we have two phrases left there. I'll just finish it up. And we'll see here. Eduardo, ¿vive usted en México? María, yo no, soy de México, pero vivo en los Estados Unidos. So, what we're going to do now is just kind of quickly volleyball translate this. We've now read it in Spanish, which excellent job, folks. I appreciate your hard effort and the pronunciation because I know it can be kind of embarrassing, but you did it and we went over that hump. So let's go ahead and look at our next task in reading this in English. So the way this is going to work, again, I'll call on you folks to read through it. I'll read this first sentence in English. So I call myself Maria de Jesus Escobar, just to make sure that we have understanding, right? And then I'll have somebody else read this next sentence in English, making sure that we had understanding. If there's a word you don't understand, feel free to ask. This place is okay to make mistakes. It's a time to learn and a time to gain an opportunity of understanding. So let's go ahead and have Scott, would you read Eduardo's part in English for me?
I am Eduardo Rodriguez. Nice to meet you.
Excelente, muchas gracias. All right, here we go. Let's hop back to Natalie. Natalie, if you would read Maria's part there, where it says encantada.
Is that like delighted or like delighted? Like delightful?
Yeah, that's delighted. Perfect. Yes, exactly. Delighted.
Okay.
It's like a pleasure.
Where are you from?
Awesome. And thank you so much for saying you. Now, if I look at this word usted, for all folks in general, this question, usted, is this a formal address or is this informal? What do we think? Use the chat feature if you'd like. I love it. We see formal. Anybody else want to back up Lydia's claim there? All right. No worries, no worries. Yes, it is formal. Usted is formal you, which again is one of the things that hopefully you found a video on. I had again some couple of questions regarding that information. So, and you can find that on our Schoology website and the update section. So again, thank you, Lydia, so much for that. Let's go ahead and go back to our reading there and have, let's see, who is ready for some reading. Let's go with Abigail. Would you read this next little sentence in English?
I am from Spain, but I live in Madrid.
Awesome. Yes, exactly. Soy, vivo, these are all I phrases. So great task. And then we have one last student here that we could have read. I believe Natalie, have you read in English there?
I have read, but I'll read it again if you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So it's.
That word is well.
Well, you
Mhm.
are Spanish.
Awesome. Yep, you are Spanish.
I am Mexican. Or
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Good challenge there for you. Some unknown words and you got over it. Let's go ahead. I'll read the last two sentences, question and sentence there. Eduardo, do you live in Mexico? And we have finally Maria. No, I am from Mexico, but I live in the United States. So again, we had a formal conversation going between two people. Obviously, you can see the message of the conversation is getting to know one another. So let's look at the questions here, the last little section here. And this is where you will get to speak up and answer some questions. And once we're done with this, answering questions, feel free. I'll write down your participation and speaking that answer and try to answer in Espanol if you can. If you don't know how to compose that structure in Spanish, feel free to type in the chat, this is what I have, and then I'll give you some confirmation. So I'll give you about, how does 3-minute think time to look over the questions. And if you have an answer to one of these questions that you're confident about, after the 3 minutes, I will give you the space to answer that. So again, I'll give you 3 minutes. So it is 12:30, so at 12:33. ¿Quién es mexicana? ¿Quién vive en España? Ellos son estadounidenses. Tú eres mexicano, mexicana, español, española, o estadounidense. And if you're like, where are these questions coming from? I'll pull up the PowerPoint and paste that message or that story into our chat section there so you can read through and double check your response. All right, so I provided you an extra minute there for think time. So for participation, full participation points, today what I would ask of you folks is to take on a question and answering it. If you are like, well, I don't know what the first word was, that word "quién" is who. So hopefully you were able to pick that up in the context of the question. But if you have a response, try to provide me a complete sentence for your response. So if the question said, ¿Quién es boliviano? I would say, Juan is boliviano. Okay. So again, we have question 1, ¿Quién es mexicana? 2, ¿Quién vive en España? 3, ellos son estadounidenses. 4, tú eres mexicano, mexicana, española, español, estadounidense. So go ahead and type into the chat box there which question you'd like to try to take on. Ah, perfecto. Gracias, Abigail. I love it. All right. So we have 2 for question uno. Not a worry, not a worry. 3 for question uno. It's like we're playing Uno. Uno! All right, I love it, Lydia. Thank you for being a chat like that. All right, and then we haven't heard from Scott. All right, so while Scott does some processing and thinking, let's go ahead and get started with our numero uno. Abigail, if you would provide us your response to ¿Quién es mexicana?
No soy mexicana, pero soy Estados Unidos.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, your response was perfect for numero cuatro. I do appreciate that. So going back from our story, right? ¿Quién es mexicana? Well, as we read through our story here, there is one particular person that was mexicana. But Abigail, you rocked question number 4. I will give you those participation points there for you. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Lydia, you want to go for ¿Quién vive en España? Número 2.
Sí, Eduardo vive en España.
Excelente. Eduardo vive en España. He does live in Spain. And specifically, he lives in Madrid. All right, all right. Natalie, will you do uno? ¿Quién es mexicana?
Sí, yo no, yo sí soy mexicana.
All right. So you can answer for question 4 there. I love it. But in our story, who was mexicana? All right, Scott, do you want to take that on if you're still available?
Maria es mexicana.
Excelente. Maria is mexicana. Bien hecho, bien hecho. All right. And then it looks like Henry's no longer on the chat with us, so that is okay. We have the third question. Ellos son estadounidenses. Are they Americans? So just quickly chat in the chat if you would type in your response there to the question, ellos son estadounidenses? And see if you can provide me a complete sentence response. I'll give you a sentence frame. I love it, Lydia. Soy estadounidense. So am I, American, see? But I'm also Mexicano. Can use that sentence frame to answer our question based off the reading. Ellos no son, ellos sí son. Just do that little Control C, Control V magic. I love it. Natalie, bien hecho, bien hecho. Excellent, Lydia. What about him, Eduardo? All right. Give about another 30 seconds to respond to our Control C, Control V magic, pasting in your response there to our last question. All right, and that is time. All right, folks, that is it for this end. Oh, woo! Scott just got in on the nick of time. All right, that is it for this session. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for participating. You'll see the participation points in Unit 2, Discussion 2, and you'll see the 20 points pop into there. I'm also going to provide some extra points there to you folks for answering these questions, some additional questions. So you'll see some extra credit also popped into your grade for being great participants. So I appreciate you all. I'm going to say adios, hasta luego. If you have any questions, I'm going to stick around for another 20 minutes on here just to kind of make sure that if you have any questions for me, I can answer them if you just want to do a one-on-one session. So besides that, folks, you are free to live your day. Hasta luego. Ciao.
I actually have a quick question.
All right, give me one quick second, and I'm